Hello friends, AmyR here with Prairie Paper and Ink with a combination of two favorite things. First off is the Graceful Butterflies embossing folder with matching cutting dies, which I've already done a video on. And then I was looking at them and I was like, wonder if I could do metallic ones. I was going to do gold because y'all know I love my gold, black, and white cards. Just again, chef's kiss. But in this most recent release, Simon released metallic rose gold cardstock, and this will work with this or the matte gold cardstock, the glossy black or the white. Any of them will work. So I did what I always do. I lightly sprayed the back of it with water, ran it through my die cut machine with the folder, and it embosses like a dream and is shiny and metallic, and I was really happy because I was concerned it might crack. You know, you never know, sometimes different coated cardstocks it can happen, but this embossed beautifully. So I embossed it and then I used the coordinating wafer dice. I die cut them. You could especially with this, you could 100% just stop right there. You don't need to re-emboss this. Like, you can literally see. I was quite happy. You can actually see on video this time. All the detail is there. The only reason I run everything back through the embossing folder a second time is it just raises that detail again because it's kind of been pressed flat. Like, it's there, you can see it, but re-embossing it just creates that actual dimension again. So that's what I did, ran it through the folder, and then I've got these fabulous rose gold metallic butterflies. And yeah, if I'd had more time, but you never know, I might do it for a future video. I would have done these in gold too, because seriously. So the bodies were just black cardstock. All I did was emboss them and die cut them. The bodies I don't bother re-embossing like a second time. I don't think there's any need for it. And that's even extra finicky that I'm not going to do. So I did that. And then I pulled out another oldie but goodie favorite. Instead of the bold thanks wafer die this time, I used the thank you script wafer die. This card would also work really well for like a wedding card. You know, anything really. I make mostly thank you cards because that's what I use the most. So I'd stack those layers together, set them aside. I was going to say I pulled out my beautiful flowers stamp set. No, it doesn't get pulled out. It never gets put away. So I'm stamping that onto a panel of white cardstock with VersaFine Clair NOCTURNE ink. I thought this would make just a gorgeous background. You know, I think this is one of the few, if not only times so far, that this is, more of a background image versus like the main focus of my card. So I flipped the cardstock around, stamped it a second time, and then going to add some splatter, of course. So black soot distress paint, put a few drops of that onto my little palette. I'm going to take my little fan brush. I'm going to splatter that over this stamp panel. And I was going to leave it just like this, but I felt like there was kind of too much going on and I wanted to simplify it a bit. So what I did was I pulled out a Copic marker. This is the 110 Special Black. I never use my black markers. There's this one and there's black. There's just a very slight difference between them. However, if you want to do something like this and use any sort of colors, like Copic, like any of the colors other than black, I wouldn't do this because VersaFine Clair ink is not like compatible really with Copics. I didn't have a problem with this because I was just coloring them black. You know, like I'm not worried about any smearing or anything like that, or even potentially getting, some of that ink into my Copic nib. You know what I mean? But because it was black on black and this is a marker I practically never use, it didn't bother me. But if you want to stamp it and say color the leaves green and leave everything else or whatever, stamp it in a Copic friendly ink, do your little bit of coloring, then add your splatter. Because I'm also coloring like over the black splatter, which was fine. It was dry and it's permanent once it's dry, that splatter. But this is just the thought process. But this worked. This worked. I also loved that I don't know, like you can see it right now. I don't think you can even see it very much at the end, but in real life, you can still see the stamp detail of the leaves. Like I honestly didn't care as I was doing this because I just wanted to fill in those leaves. Just make them solid black. It just gives it that little extra something. But in real life, you can still actually see the detail of the stamping as well as the splatter, you know. So it was just a fun little thing. And then another thing I did, I wasn't going to use the outline for that thank you die cut, but again, the background was really busy. The thank you die cut being black over black stamping images, it was just kind of not showing up as like I wanted. So I took the outline, I die cut it from vellum, and I ran that through my little Xyron. This is my 3-inch size sticker maker because of course I have all the sizes. So I ran that through, pressed it in really well, traced around it with my little like honeybee die cut tool. If you're doing anything detail, like if I was using the words and wanting to use the Xyron adhesive to stack them, I would run the cardstock through my Xyron, get the adhesive on it, then die cut with the backing and everything in place, because I'm not going to sit and trace, you know, intricate little words like this. That would take forever. There's no need for it. But when it's a simple outline, something simple, I find it easier to just die cut, run it through my machine, trace around it. That just removes all those little goobers, you know, that like to stick around the edges and just are a pain. That removes all that. So then I adhered the die cut words on top of the outline, and then I stuck that in place, and the vellum just gives it, you know, that little extra kind of buffer so it pops out a bit. And then my butterflies, I'm going to adhere with craft tacky glue, and they're just metallic. And the detail, you guys. I loves it. Anyway, set that aside. I have another panel of white cardstock, and I've cleaned my stamp, and I'm inking it up with Simon's. This is Pale Blush Pink ink. This is kind of similar in tone to the rose gold color. And my stamp wasn't perfectly clean, so it did pick up a little bit of black. I was okay with that. I don't know, it gave it like a vintage vibe, which, you know, isn't normally my thing, but can't fault the look of it. It's fabulous. So I did that. My card base is black cardstock, top folding A2, so 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. And then I'm going to adhere this panel to the inside. I'm using my craft tacky glue with the detail tip just because it was sitting there and I was lazy. But for like large things, I don't need it, but it's handy for the sentiments, things like that, you know, the little bodies of the butterflies. And I'll link to that tip. I've mentioned this in many videos. I just opened my bottle of craft tacky, like took the lid off, screwed the little metal tip on. No surgery needed, no weird things. I just screwed it on, and I've been using it ever since. So I adhered the panel to the inside. I added one of the butterflies. I then covered the back of my card front with Simon's Big Mama foam tape. So I got a little bit of dimension going on there. And then I'm going to pop this onto my card base. And then I pulled out some Studio Caudia Rose Gold Confetti. These are a perfect match to the Simon Metallic Rose Gold cardstock. Because sometimes, rose gold, people get weird with the coloring. You know what I mean? But this was a perfect match. So it was just, everything was just meant to be, Again, it's that satisfaction, those funny little things when I'll come across different products and I'm like, ooh, this matches this. Things don't need to match. It doesn't need to be perfect. Perfection's overrated. But still, when you find random things and they match, it's like, yes. So I adhered a few of those into place, and that finished off this card. Kind of simple, but really, I didn't want it too busy because these butterflies take center stage. Like, they're beautiful. So beautiful. So, as always, I will have a link below the video to my blog post. I'll have a supply list. I'll link to all the supplies I used. I'll link to my playlist with the couple of dozen videos I've done using the beautiful flower stamp set because it's my favorite. You guys can check that out if you're interested. Thank you all so much for watching and subscribing and thumbs upping and commenting, all the good things. I very much appreciate it. And I will see you all very soon in the next video. Bye.